You guys remember those infomercials where like the people couldn't do anything? That's how I'm gonna feel doing this project. Hi, hello, and welcome to the Fluffy Tail household, where there's nothing but good fuzzy vibes here. So today we'll be starting on part 4 of Suigintou. So now I'm gonna name every part 4. I don't know. Okay, sorry, we're getting off topic. Part 4 of Suigintou. So in this part, I am just gonna focus on the top, mainly because the bodice has so much to it, and I don't really want to miss a thing with you guys. So the skirt we're saving for another video, but right now the top. So let's get started on cutting out things. Too much. Took me so long. It took me like 4 hours just to cut out everything. It's a lot. That's all the sleeve in one pile. I need to put all the bodice together and all the skirt stuff together. That way I'm not overwhelmed by this project, because I feel already overwhelmed just by all the pattern pieces. There are so many. I'm gonna focus on the bodice for right now though, and then do the sleeves after, and then the skirt. Alright, I finished sewing parts of the lining, which was the darts, and then I sewed the lining together. I did pre-press some of the seams. I know it's really hard to tell, but I did pre-press them. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find a zipper. So what I need for this lining is several things. I need to install a zipper into the lining. I need to install breast pads into the lining because I will not be wearing any undergarment. I need to install an undergarment within the fabric itself in order to achieve the back look, because right now I don't want this sticking out of the back. So yeah, that's the whole reason for the insert. So I need to sew some inserts in, and then I need to sew the middle part into here and the ribbon part, and then also I need to do the trim. So this lining layer is like probably the most important layer in this whole garment right now. At least in the bodice part, it is the most important part because everything's going to be sewn to it. And then when I put the fashion layer over it, all those things that are sewn to it are going to get sewn up on the inside. So you're not going to see any of it. But in order to have, for it to have structural integrity, I need to do all that. So we're going to start with the zipper and then go from there. So I actually have a lot of readjustments to do. I'm kind of glad this is on the lining. But I guess I cut it out just a little too big. Maybe that's just because of the open back, you know? But what I had to do is I pinned in the zipper, and then I pinned up the sides. I did this because the back was gaping way too much, so I had to pin up the sides. The middle piece is still going to go in here, and the ribbons are still going to go on the back. But I'm kind of glad I did this because what the back was doing is it was sagging so bad. Like, it was sagging down to here. And I didn't want that. So, that's what all the pinning was for. But right now, I'm just going to sew on the cups. If you can see the cups, I'm going to sew them on. I'm going to sew the zipper on. And I'm going to hand sew all these things. And then I will sew up the sides afterwards. Much better. I sewed on the cups and I sewed up the zipper. I know it's really hard to see because everything's completely like pitch black, but I think once I sew on the other things like the middle and the ribbons in the back and then get on the trim, I think it'll look so much better because right now it's just kind of like, what is that? But yeah. I'm going to continue sewing because I got a lot of hand sewing to do, so I'm just going to continue on that. Okay, I'm not gonna pin the other loops just yet. I'm gonna try to figure this out. So this piece looks a little bulky, especially right here, which I'm a little concerned for. So I'm gonna figure out that piece. This looks good wrapped around so far. I did iron down the loops, but they are twisting a bit. Again, there's no fabric to hold them in place, so until that fabric goes in, they might twist. For the back, I got the straps on, and I'm gonna try this on real quick to make sure I like the straps where they are, and I might just tack down the straps first before putting on this piece. And lastly, I got the 2 little squares with the magnets in them, and that'll be later on for the wings. So we got all the stuff pinned. Now it's just gonna be me hand sewing a lot of the stuff. I might put a line of beading right here. Just depends on how I feel, but I think I'm gonna do it just because other pieces on this garment have lines of beads, and it would only make sense to have something else have another line of beads, not beans, beads. All right, I sewed together the fashion layer and I pinned it for now, the lining layer, but it looks really good with everything pinned and hidden. It looks really professional. The loops, I'm gonna mess around with a bit more. I'm not really impressed by them. If I have to, I'll bring some of them down and stitch them within the garment so they're not so big because they keep twisting. But yeah, that's my solution for that. Or I don't know, pin them to something. I'll figure it out. Alright, you guys, the back is finished, and so is the front. I'm going to glue the flower on the last, just because I still have to do a lot of flipping inside out and all that stuff. So this part of the garment is done. We're going to move on to the sleeves. So this pile of fabric right here is my ruffles, and I pinned right side to right side, and the reason I did that is because I want to do these as French seams. They are one layer of fabric, and usually with one layer, if you're not going to bag line it, it's best to do a French seam so it looks nice inside, just in case, like, if I were on stage or whatever, if it like flipped and you could see the inside would look nice and clean. So I'm gonna do that, and then after I French seam all of these panels together, I'm going to stay stitch down here. Now stay stitching, you just do a line of stitching, nothing special to it, and then what that does is it helps the fabric not warp when I'm rolling the hem, because this is going to be a rolled hem, and I'm going to blind stitch this rolled hem. So again, it's going to look all neat on the inside. So I'm going to get that started. So rolling them was not really working. I think it's this fabric. It's a little too slippery and it keeps on going all over the place. So what I'm gonna do is serge the edge instead. The stay stitching was helping when I did serge, so I'm gonna serge instead, and then I'm gonna roll that over. I already did it for one, so I'll show you guys the one that I did. And it just worked out way better, way more clean, and I just hand stitched it down just to match the hand stitching on the bodice. So I'm going to continue with that. The ruffles are done. I did serge the ends. I tried to gather it with a gathering stitch. That didn't really work, so what I'm going to do is just hand gather it when I put it into the sleeve. Right now I got to switch all of my thread to black thread, so that's what you guys will see in the next sequence. Alright, you guys, the thread has been all changed. Now I'm just going to start serging away at things. Pile of fabric, the sleeves are finished, so I'm gonna just speed run through them and get them on there, and then we attach the bows and lastly the rose. It's almost done. So the last thing I need to do is glue on this little rose, and I need to do some bows. But I'm gonna do those off camera because those aren't really interesting. It's just me hand sewing it. But when I get back to you, this will be done. And it's done. The blouse is all finished. Every little part of it is done. Now I get to move on to the skirt, which will be the next video. I know this video was a little in depth, but this had so much to it, and so does the skirt. So they had to be their own separate thing. But anyway, thank you for joining me, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.